Mike is innocent. This wasn't the correct paper. At this point, are you thinking, babe, maybe I screwed up. Maybe I got the wrong paper. Like, what were you actually thinking at that time?
The mistake, Greg, was never mine at any point.
Coach Greg, and I'm here with Solomon Nelson. Is that correct?
Yes.
Solomon recently exposed Dr. Mike Israetel for a thesis that was, let's just say, not very good. Did you expect that video to go viral like that?
I mean, I knew it would get some attention, but I had no idea it would blow up like that much.
I really wanted to know this. What made you interested in Dr. Mike in the first place? Because I only know of two people that have read that thesis. It was my friends. His wife had read it and told me about how many mistakes there was in it and was explaining how bad it really was. And then you read it. And so What made you want to read that in the first place? What got you interested in Mike? Were you a fan of Dr. Mike for a while, or just take us through that?
I was originally, as a teenage lifter, I guess you could say, beguiled by him. I'll concede that there is a lot to be beguiled by. Otherwise, obviously, he wouldn't have as many followers as he does. And, he has some interesting contributions, like the stimulus to fatigue ratio model, which sometimes I wish he had written his dissertation about, since that actually seems original, worthwhile, and practical. In short, I guess I see why people like him, because I too liked him at one point. But I did come to see cracks in the facade. In short, some strange advice that really didn't stand up to scrutiny.
So for a while, you're a fan of him, but rather than just listening to everything he was saying, eventually things changed and you were no longer thinking that what he was saying made sense. Is there a moment where you remember, okay, I don't like what he's saying right now? Or was it a slow and steady, change of heart?
Probably the latter. I just generally have a passion for dispelling bullshit in this space, I would say. And, I think when someone uses science to push misinformation, it kind of magnifies the damage. Do you know what I mean?
So perhaps he was saying some things that you didn't agree with, like when he said, it's healthy to drink 1 or 2 glasses of wine a day because it has cardiovascular benefits, even though it can cause cancer and it's been proven to be bad. And he went on a podcast. Has he said multiple things similar to that just are not true? And he said, how can he just sit there and say that with confidence?
I mean, absolutely. That was my estimation of much of his advice. And, bad advice alone, I don't really have a problem with. If it's Joe Sixpack just pushing some random nonsense and he has no credibility, then who really cares? It's not as bad when some kind of obvious con man or fraud pushes misinformation, and yet people treat it as if it's worse because I guess it's easier to punch down. Whereas I think it's the opposite. I think it's actually worse when someone leans on credentials to push misinformation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when somebody says something from a PhD, you almost assume everything they say is correct. But if they just said, hey, I'm just some guy, I'm just Mike, and this is what I think, well, you can think a lot of things. They don't have to necessarily be correct. But when Mike says, Dr. Mike here, Dr. Mike here, Dr. Mike here, it's almost like you're assuming it has to be correct.
Yeah, absolutely. That's damaging. Because, okay, here's another reason why it's damaging. Supposing you're, a teenager, you're getting started in the space, and someone who professes to be super science-based gives you a really terrible program. One where you run yourself into the ground with excessive training volumes, your joints ache, you're not making any progress. What are you to think when you got that program from someone who said, I'm Mr. Science, right? If you can't progress and you're broken following a program that is advertised as the most scientifically backed, then what are you supposed to believe? It can't be the program because it was written by Mr. Science. And so I feel that's why it's more important to concentrate on people such as Mike Israetel. We should hold these science-based folks to a higher standard.
Yeah,
right?
I believe so. And so one thing that bothered me was when you made that video talking about some of the mistakes and giving your opinion on what you thought about that paper. And then people are criticizing you for saying negative things or for bringing up the past. But when somebody flashes their doctorate and says, this is me, I'm smart, I do this, shouldn't you be able to challenge that paper to say, is it really that good? Should we really just automatically believe what you're saying?
Yeah, and I get, okay. One way of looking at that, Greg, is I really do believe that arguments should be evaluated on their own merits. As in, regardless of someone's credentials, an argument can be true or false. You can spout complete nonsense with a PhD or truths without one. It's completely irrelevant to the actual substance of the arguments themselves.
The days after you do the paper, Mike is not saying anything. He's just kind of staying quiet. I mean, if I were Mike, I would have just made a video and said, yeah, this is what happened and let's move on. I should have put more effort. I'm not proud of that paper. I think people would have moved on very quickly, but instead of that, he ignored it. And his friend, Milo Wolf, does a video attacking myself, yourself, other people, and basically says you should be sued or potentially could get sued for not doing your due diligence to getting the wrong paper, almost as if it was done on purpose, and goes full bore to say, Mike is innocent, this wasn't the correct paper. And so at this point, are you thinking, babe, maybe I screwed up, maybe I got the wrong paper? Like, what were you actually thinking at that time?
The mistake, Greg, was never mine at any point. When it was just a draft, bro, trust me, explanation was given, it still wasn't at any point my mistake. I mean, as you put it yourself, it's a totally unreasonable standard to expect, say, a movie reviewer who unintentionally reviews a draft of a movie that has been presented as the final copy. It is unreasonable to expect the reviewer to have asked the creator of the movie or the producer of the movie if that screening was in fact the final version of the movie and not a draft. Right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It was
like,
on
imagine
the East Tennessee State University website. So this framing that I made a mistake in reviewing, and it turned out not to be a mistake anyway, but it was asinine, Greg.
I want to say Milo is basically challenging you, saying you didn't write Mike Israetel to find out if that was his actual final paper. Like, would any reasonable person have done that? And even if you had, is he somehow expected to give you a response to that? Like, why would he even respond? He's probably just going to lift you ghosted. So I think it's ridiculous to assume so. How long did it take you to make that video? Was it a month? Was it 40 hours a week for a month straight? How long did you put the work in for?
I mean, I guess it would be about as long as it'd take a doctoral examiner plus editing. So yeah, it was definitely more than a month.
And so you're working on another video now. Is it soon going to be out?
I've been working about 20 hours a day on this video. Whoa. Well, owing to recent developments, I'm taking it in a new direction.
Yeah,
another
it's funny
brutal truth nuke being dropped.
Yeah, with making videos, it's so now. So, for example, we wake up this morning and see what Mike's posted. We weren't even planning on talking about this in this way, but because of the newer events, everything shifts a different way. It's hard with social media to keep up with what's happening on a daily basis.
It's mental, isn't it? Like,
yeah, that's why my videos are so quick, to the point. The reactionary, a lot of people will criticize me saying, well, all you're doing is reacting. You're not doing anything. I'm like, I'm explaining and teaching while reacting to somebody who presented misinformation. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a silly criticism. I mean, here's the thing. Like, the truth it's like a tree that takes 1,000 years to grow and only a day to chop down. And I admire that. My sister, she has something really funny. My sister Olympia, she goes, the devil works hard, but Greg Doucette works harder.
I enjoy it. I think it's a good time. It's fun for me. It's like when you're obsessed about something and you can't sleep and you're working all day and it's enjoyable. Does it really feel like work when that's what you want to do?
You said something to me that really struck me in our direct messages. Every day is like a dream. I know what that's like now.
Every day feels amazing. Every day I wake up and I'm excited about everything that's happening. And so I can never feel bad because things are so good. Experienced so much fun in my life that I'm just really happy. I wish everyone could feel that way.
Are you especially happy today now that you have a total Doucette victory on your hands?
To be full transparency, me and my brother were on the phone talking about Mike. And I said, maybe he's like joking about this. Maybe he's just saying, I admit it. And then tomorrow he'll say, no, it wasn't my first draft. Like, I'm still not sure if Mike is actually apologizing or saying this is it. It's like a paragraph on Instagram and it doesn't address half the things. So I'm like, is this it? Is this all he's going to say?
Yeah, I'm curious. We'll see. I mean, it's a rapidly developing situation. Hey.
And Milo Wolf wanted you to take your video down now because you're spreading. Yeah, you didn't know this. You're spreading misinformation. You should take your video down. And you read the comments. You should take your video down. How, don't you know better? Like now that you know it's not the final draft, your video is based on a lie. You could be sued. And I'm thinking, is he now going to make a video and apologize to you and for me and say, I can't believe Mike lied to me? Is he going to take his video down?
Sorry, you're referring to Milo there. Yeah, I was never going to. I was never going to say, "Whoopsie, sorry, I reviewed a draft." It's like, no, I'm not stupid.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And so I just want to see, is Milo going to take his video down? Now that he knows that he's like, that is all based on a lie. Start to finish, that's a lie. I don't know if Milo's the one that made that lie. I don't know if Mike told Milo. Milo's just defending his friend. I can respect that. Hey, it's your best friend saying we're good friend. And somebody says, hey, that's your first draft. And he says to Mike, hey, is this your first draft? No, that's the wrong draft. Here it is. And Milo's going to say, oh, those jerks, they're trying to tear you down because they're biased against you. You've done 10 videos against Mike. I've done 20. And so we just don't like them. Or are we just talking about the truth? Just because we say negative things sometimes doesn't mean we're biased. It means we're accurate. So definitely, guys, be sure to follow Solomon, follow his journey, see the excellent videos he does. Personally, I thought he should have got a PhD for just the analysis of Mike's PhD.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm looking forward to seeing more videos.
Thank you so very much, Greg. Yeah, you can find me on my YouTube channel. It's just my birth name, Solomon Nelson. Because I'm terribly uncreative. Yeah, big video in the works, comes out soon. I know thank you, Greg, is a meme, but I mean
thank you, Greg.
Anytime anyone says thank you, Greg, it's almost daily at some point for whatever.
That's cool.
I immediately have a flood of laughter and dopamine in my head. Like it makes me laugh. Right? I'm like, thank you, Greg. Sometimes I'll respond like it just makes me laugh so much. It's hilarious. All right. Until next time, we're out.
Boom.